Oh, it is working. Oh, hi there. It's Manaloy of Blackbright News. Today's video is about why do blacks not trust each other? It's an age-old dilemma and something that's discussed time and time again. And the only way I can answer this is because as a black person, sometimes you wonder why you don't trust people. And it's about projecting things about yourself. And a lot of the times when you don't trust somebody else, it's because you recognize something in them that's within you. So when black people are not trusting another black person, it's because they recognize traits in that person that they have within themselves. Sometimes those traits that they see go way back. It could be something that happened as a child, it could be something that happened as an adolescent, or it could even have happened to them as adults. But they see traits in other black people that they don't trust. And because they look at themselves and they say, well, if I was in this situation, I would do A, B, C, D, and E. They are projecting how they are on the other person. The other person has got nothing to do with it. And when we're talking about we do not want to go into business with another black person because they're going to let us down, or we don't want to buy from black people because they charge too much, you have to remember that black people, they don't have the same economic sway as other races. And so when they do set up a business, they do have to pay more for less because they can't buy on a grand scale. So when we think about our background, we have to think how our image was built. What kind of history did we have? What kind of lies were we told? What kind of omissions were there that make us feel as though we cannot trust ourselves and though we're not worthy to be trusted? Because that's what it boils down to. It's, all those lies that we've been told over the years. People have disappointed us, whether it's family, whether it's relatives, whether it's the media, whether it's the police, whether it's anybody in power, whether it's even the politicians. People have lied and told us all kinds of untruths. And as you grow up, you build up a skin, and the skin gets thicker and thicker and thicker until you reach a stage where you don't trust anybody and you're skeptical about everyone. And that's because you know what you've had to do to get by. Now let's put things into perspective, so at least there are some facts that we can believe and can trust, because we have been raised in a society where we were told so many things that were lies. So let's go back to the beginning. What can we trust? We can't trust a lot of things. We can't trust is what our parents told us, because they were based on their time, their era, their values, their morals. We can't trust the teachers that educated us, because a lot of the time the education was missing. It was diluted. It was fragmented. It wasn't all there. We didn't have a holistic picture of ourselves. We can't trust the people, our aunts and uncles who were meant to nurture us, because a lot of them lied to us, a lot of them abused us, and those kind of things. So we are raised, not only black people, but I am aiming this at black people because my programs are black centered. So we have to think about what facts do we have? What do we know about ourselves that is true? We know that we're either male or female. I mean, some people have a dilemma about that. But for the main part, just try to think about what there is about you that's authentic and true, and that can be projected positively on somebody else, so you don't have to fear or mistrust everyone. Also, you have to realize that your your history wasn't just about slavery, because sometimes when you think about your history just being about slavery, it makes you feel less worthy. It makes you feel as though you're less of a person. It makes you feel that by association you are less. And just try to look behind what happened before slavery, and think about all those kings like Mansa Musa and Hannibal, and so many kings. I mean, you can look up, I'm not going to go through them, but you can look up on Google the kings and queens, the black kings and queens. Look them up and see how many kings and queens. Don't take my word for it. You've also got current role models who have got where they are through determination, through passion, through just having goals and achieving goals. You've got even somebody like Usain Bolt. He didn't just get up and run. It takes determination. You know what I mean? And you have people who've actually, even if they've had a bad run, even if they have been abused and raped, or had, if they're women, they've been raped, and if they've been beaten up or whatever, somebody like Oprah Winfrey, she's exploited those bad things that happened to her, and it's made her wealthy. So even if you've had a bad deal growing up, it doesn't have to project your future. It doesn't have to become your future. And you don't have, even whether it was, I think it was black people who did that to Oprah Winfrey as well. I think it was members of her family. So yeah, so even when members of your family, people of your race, let you down, disappoint you, are unreliable, are untrustworthy, are disingenuous, don't let it affect your place where you are now. Because everybody gets betrayed at some point or another. Everybody will get let down, regardless of race, regardless of colour. But don't let that determine how you relate to other black people, or how you support black businesses, or how you encourage people to work with you and for you. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah, I think the main thing is learning to trust yourself, because once you trust yourself, you can start trusting others. And if you realize that a lot of what you think about others is what you feel about yourself. If you criticize another person, there's something dormant within you that you haven't addressed and that you feel uncomfortable with, so you project it on others. So all I'm saying is that, in order to get back in the game, and in order for us to stand a fair chance of being on an even playing field, if it is possible, we have to start with trusting each other and not being so negative about each other, because that's all you hear a lot of people doing. And you hear about black on black crime, but before there was black on black crime, there was white on black crime. So you have a legacy and you have something. Everything that we've learned is what we've been taught, and we've been taught it growing up, but it doesn't mean that it has to follow us through our future. It doesn't mean that that's the way life has to be, or that's how our circumstances have to remain. We need to get a grip and be strong and confident within ourselves, and not play the victim, and not feel as though we don't have a say, and not feel as though we're not good enough, because we are. And that's all I've got to say. So trust yourself. In trusting yourself, you'll trust others who look just like you. And that's all for now. Bye-bye.